How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast, back with another episode review for Star Wars Visions. We'll be talking about Season 1, Episode 8, Lop and Ocho, which was created or animated by Geno Studio. Now, I guess to start us off, giving a quick synopsis of the story itself that we see for this particular episode. It's a story about family, or at least not family by blood, but family by relation, and the bond that each family member shares. And eventually, during conflict, what happens when the family decides to divide due to certain or different ideals. So, to kind of set us up, we have this character named Lop, who apparently was part of this slave labor by the Empire. Which at this particular time, they have been occupying a certain planet for its resources. This character, Lop, is brought in by a very kind family, and after several years, they have been in conflict with the Empire. While both care for the father of the household, one of them in particular, the blood-related daughter, who is named Ocho, is in defense of the Empire, while the father isn't. And unfortunately has to pick sides, which does not help the situation at all, especially for their household. And it's up to Lop to try to not only save her father, but also save her sister. And in a sense, it's a good story. It sucks that some of these are really short, but at the same time, these episodes have been so good, and I think this is probably one of my favorite ones story-wise. Talking about animation too, the animation is just gorgeous. If anything, it is one of the best animated ones that I've seen so far. There is so much detail, and considering it's a Japanese company, it is rich with Japanese culture, or at least put in. It kind of draws a Japanese culture into this whole environment, which is really cool. The tales, or at least the designs for the characters, the clothing, everything just breathes culture, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, something that kind of gave me a little bit of a chuckle was there's this device that Lop uses, which is connected to, I'm assuming it's a pin, because I don't see how this is wrapping around her ear, but when she presses it, it shows a display, or relinquishes a display, and I got a chuckle for a second, because it kind of reminded me of what we have seen previous times with DBZ, with the Scouters. So all in all, I thought that was kind of cool. The design for Lop was interesting, though. I mean, let's be honest, it's a bunny girl, but at the same time, her design is, it was interesting. It was intriguing. As well as the design for some of the weapons that we see, as well as the lightsaber. Now, something I haven't commented on for previous episodes is some of the lightsabers. And in certain cases, or depending on the company that draws them, when the blade is extended out instead of it being its normal shape, they kind of do something that they do similar to what we've seen for the Darksaber. For those who don't know, the Darksaber is a lightsaber within the lore that the Mandalore made to combat Jedi. And in certain scenarios, the Darksaber is not the same shape, or does not extend to the same shape as any normal lightsaber. In fact, if anything, it looks like a regular blade that is covered, or at least surrounded by energy from a kyber crystal. So, to an extent, a lot of the lightsabers that we've seen thus far in previous episodes are more in the shape of a katana, which is, for those who also don't know, is the Japanese style sword, or one of the Japanese style swords. So in that degree, I always thought that was pretty cool. And to an extent, they do the same thing with this one, only a little bit more where, I guess apparently there are engravings in the sword, which to an extent doesn't make any sense because it's a beam sword, but I just thought, like, aesthetic wise, it was pretty cool. Now there was something there was something that was also really interesting with the character Ocho, who, when she finally makes her decision on which side to choose, and I kind of addressed the usage of color in a variety of different reviews, where color shows you, or it kind of displays emotion, or if anything displays a person's choice or what's going on within the story. And a good example has to be with The Force Awakens. Now, love it or hate that movie, the moment where Kylo Ren decides if he was going to join his father or join the dark side completely, and you have the lighting being blue and red and then going full on red, really helps with, kind of figuring out what his decision is. And they do this really cool thing with Ocho where she has the traditional, like, makeup for our Japanese makeup, and it's like either black or maybe like a light blue. So when she makes her decision to join the basically join the Empire, she takes a bite of her thumb and marks her eyes red. Now, to an extent, it might not be similar, but like using color to kind of display what their thought process is, as well as, by the way, her cutting her hair to show that she's not part of the family anymore. But in a way, like, kind of doing something like that, it's really cool, and it's really cool to see in situations like that. So all in all, this one has to be one of my favorites so far, story wise, animation wise, and I guess if anything, involving, especially with, like, what we see with characters. So all in all, and I just wish these were longer. I would have loved to enjoy it a little bit more, but unfortunately we don't get that chance. But anywho, all in all, great episode. I'm looking forward to the last episode of the season. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. And I will see you guys in the next video.